Hello everyone. This is Eli, and I'm 23 now. This story happened years ago, but my family's dragged it back into the spotlight. So here I am, sharing it with you. I've been sitting on this for a long time, still trying to wrap my head around it. Here's the deal. This all started when I was 15, and it still messes with me sometimes. I'm the middle kid, stuck between my older sister Jenna and younger brother Derek. Jenna was 17 back then, the golden child who always did the right thing. She was every parent's dream, responsible, ambitious, the works. Derek was 11, the baby, the one who could do no wrong in their eyes. He got a free pass for everything. And then there's me, just trying to stay out of trouble and carve my own path. My parents always said they were about fairness, splitting things evenly, giving us all the same chances. But looking back, that fairness was a lie. They saw Jenna as the family's future CEO, Derek as the baby to protect, and me as just there. Not bad enough to be a problem, but not good enough to stand out. My dad had this collection, not stamps or coins like normal people. It was pocket knives, baseball cards, a couple of autographed baseballs. He had a whole shelf in his bedroom for them, like a shrine. He'd tell stories about where each piece came from, how hard he worked to get them, how much they were worth. It wasn't my thing, but he loved it. Some of those items were valuable, too, even though he didn't make much money. He was proud of it. But then things from his collection started disappearing. The first was a pocket knife, his favorite one. He'd shown it to me before, bragging about its unique design and how he traded with a collector to get it. One morning, it was gone. At first, he thought he misplaced it or left it somewhere. No big deal, just annoying. But a week later, a baseball card vanished. Then another knife. It didn't take long for him to get suspicious. He asked me, Jenna, and Derek about it. I didn't think much of it because why would I care? I told him straight, I hadn't seen it. Jenna and Derek said the same, but the way he looked at me made me wonder if he believed me. Then everything changed. He found one of his missing knives in my room. I'll never forget it. He stormed in, holding the knife like it was evidence in a courtroom. Why is this here? He demanded. I froze. I had no idea how it got there. I don't know, I said. It's not mine. But he didn't believe me. Don't play dumb, he snapped. This is my knife. What's it doing in your room? From that moment on, I was the bad guy. Every time something went missing, it was my fault. It didn't matter what I said or how hard I denied it. They'd already decided I was guilty. I still don't know if Derek planted that knife or if it just ended up there somehow. But it didn't matter to my parents. Finding it in my room was enough proof for them. And it wasn't just them. They started telling the whole family. My grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, they all knew. Every family gathering felt like I was on trial. People made comments, some subtle, some not. My uncle once said, better keep an eye on your wallet around him, and grinned like it was a joke. My grandmother gave me these looks, like she couldn't believe I'd turned out this way. School wasn't much better. My mom told one of her friends about it, and that friend's kid went to my school. You can guess what happened next. It spread like wildfire. Kids started whispering about me in the halls. Isn't he the one who stole from his dad? They'd say. I kept my head down, but it wasn't easy. How do you prove you didn't do something? The more I denied it, the guiltier I looked. I was trapped in a game I couldn't win. Derek, meanwhile, acted like none of this was happening. He was always in the background, playing games, doing homework, being the perfect kid they thought he was. Jenna stayed neutral, refusing to get involved, which hurt in its own way. I hoped she'd stick up for me, but she didn't. She just kept her distance, like the whole thing was beneath her. The accusations weren't even the worst part. It was how they made me feel about myself. I started doubting everything. I'd replay every conversation in my head, wondering what I did to deserve this. I even wondered if I was stealing in my sleep or forgetting things. I know it sounds crazy, but when everyone treats you like a thief, it messes with your mind. I started Googling things like unconscious stealing or memory lapses to see if something was wrong with me. My parents kept saying, we're just trying to help you learn from your mistakes. But whose mistakes? I didn't do anything, or at least I didn't think I did. The line between what I knew and what they believed started to blur. I stopped hanging out with friends because I didn't want to explain why I was always stressed or couldn't go out. I stayed in my room as much as I could, avoiding their constant questions. What else have you taken? Are you lying about this, too? By the end of that year, I felt like an outsider in my own home. I didn't trust my parents, my siblings, or even myself. All I wanted was for someone to believe me, but that wasn't going to happen. After Dad found the knife in my room, things got worse. It was like I'd been officially labeled the thief, and there was no going back. My parents decided they needed to teach me a lesson, and they weren't messing around. A few weeks later, more things went missing, including one of his autographed baseballs. It wasn't just any ball, it was signed by his all-time favorite player, the one he bragged about constantly. I heard him yell from his room, "Where the hell is it?" My stomach dropped. I was sitting on my bed, already tense, and the anger in his voice made me shake. I didn't even know why I was nervous, I hadn't done anything. But I couldn't stop the panic. I heard heavy footsteps coming toward my room, and I knew what was next. My door flew open, and there he was, holding the empty display case like it was a loaded gun. "You've got 5 seconds to tell me where it is," he snapped. I stammered, trying to say I didn't have it, but he cut me off. "Don't lie to me again. I've had enough of your crap." His voice was so loud I thought the walls might crack. I barely had time to speak before he tore through my room like a tornado. "First the knife, now this," he said. "What else have you taken? Is there anything in this house I can trust you not to steal?" He was ripping open drawers, dumping my clothes on the floor, tearing apart my rucksack, looking under my bed. I just stood there, shaking, trying not to cry. When he didn't find the ball, he got even angrier. "You think you're clever, don't you?" he yelled, pointing at me like I was a criminal caught red-handed. "Hiding it somewhere I won't find it. Well, guess what? You're not getting away with it this time." Then my mom came in, but instead of calming him down, she piled on. "Where is it?" she demanded, her voice cold and accusing. "We've given you chance after chance, and this is how you repay us." When they finally left, I sat in my trashed room, questioning myself. What if they were right? What if I was taking things without realizing it? How else could stuff keep disappearing? Maybe I was sleepwalking or had memory problems. It sounds ridiculous now, but I was desperate for answers. If I couldn't trust my family to believe me, how could I trust myself? That night, they sat me down and laid out new rules, making my life even worse. At first, it was small stuff, grounded for a few days, no TV. But as more things went missing, the punishments got harsher. They grounded me for weeks at a time. I couldn't go to friends' houses, the park, or even around the block. They took my phone and sold my laptop. I wasn't even allowed to read my favorite books because, according to them, privileges had to be earned back. It didn't stop there. My dad had this thing where he gave me chores as part of my punishment, but not normal ones like taking out the trash. He'd come up with stuff to make my life miserable, like scrubbing the garage floor with a brush by hand because that's what happens when you disrespect people's property. My mom was no better. She'd make passive-aggressive comments every chance she got. If I asked for something simple like a snack, she'd say, "Oh, now you're asking permission? How nice of you." Or, "Haven't you taken enough from this family already?" It was relentless, and it got to me. It felt like they hated me for more than just the missing stuff. Looking back, I can't wrap my head around it. How could parents treat their kid like that over something so small? It wasn't like they were losing thousands of dollars or priceless antiques. A knife here, a baseball there, it wasn't worth all the drama. But they acted like I'd ruined their lives. Their anger cut deep. And let's not forget Derek and Jenna. Derek just sat back, watching, never saying a word. He'd play video games or watch TV while I was cleaning baseboards or organizing the pantry. Jenna acted like the whole thing didn't exist. She stayed in her room most of the time, barely acknowledging what was happening. I guess it was her way of avoiding the drama, but it felt like betrayal. They even canceled my 16th birthday. I was supposed to get my driver's license like every other kid, but they said I hadn't earned their trust. No party, no gift, not even a happy birthday. It was just another day where I was treated like a criminal in my own home. I tried talking to them once, explaining how hard it was to be treated like this for something I didn't do. My dad's response? "If you don't like it, maybe you shouldn't have taken things that didn't belong to you." My mom just nodded, like the conversation was over. What hit me hardest was the inconsistency. One minute, my mom would act like she was trying to help me turn things around. The next, she'd lecture me about how disappointed she was. My dad was the same, acting like he was teaching me a life lesson while finding new ways to make me feel like a failure. After a while, I stopped fighting back. What was the point? They wouldn't believe me no matter what I said. I figured if I kept my head down and did what they wanted, things might get better. By 17, I wasn't the same person anymore. The constant accusations, punishments, and isolation had worn me down. I wasn't just angry, I was exhausted. Exhausted from explaining myself, from hoping things would change, from being the black sheep in my own family. What happened at 15 shaped how I saw myself and the world. Even now, I doubt my own worth, wondering if I deserve good things or if the other shoe's about to drop. Even when life's going well, it's like the part of me they crushed never fully healed. My parents stopped treating me like a son. They treated me like a problem to be managed. Every interaction felt like they were waiting for me to screw up again. My dad barely looked at me unless he was yelling or questioning me about something gone wrong. He'd get mad over tiny mistakes, like forgetting a chore or leaving something out, saying, "Of course you can't even do this right." My mom was just as bad. She stopped hiding her disappointment altogether. Every time she spoke to me, it was a lecture on responsibility or a reminder of how I'd let them down. She'd sigh when I walked into a room, like my presence alone ruined her day. Even when I tried to avoid them, it wasn't enough. If I stayed in my room too long, she'd barge in and say, "You're not going to hide away forever. That's not how you fix things." But when I tried to connect, it just gave them more chances to show how much they distrusted me. They stopped giving me the benefit of the doubt. If something went missing, a pair of scissors, a pack of batteries, I was automatically to blame. My dad would say, "Let me guess, you have no idea where it went," in a tone that screamed he thought I was lying. It didn't matter how many times I denied it or how solid my case was. They'd already decided I was guilty. The worst part was the constant anxiety. Every noise in the house made me jump, like I was waiting for the next outburst or accusation. I'd stress over little things like leaving my room messy or accidentally knocking something over. Even when I wasn't being yelled at, my brain told me I was about to be. It was like walking on a tightrope, never knowing when I'd fall. It's weird how fast you adapt to unfairness. I stopped expecting my parents to be fair or kind. I kept my head down, avoided conflict, and stayed in my room unless I needed to eat or do one of their endless chores. Fast forward to now, I'm 23, living on my own, doing my thing. I moved out right after turning 18 and never looked back. I barely talked to my family since, maybe a quick holiday text, but that's it. I kept my distance. Then one random afternoon, my phone rang. It was my mom. I almost didn't answer, we hadn't had a real talk in years, and I wasn't in the mood to fake nice. But something made me pick up. I could tell right away something was off. Her voice wasn't the usual casual tone, it was shaky, hesitant. "Hi, sweetie," she started. "I hope you're doing well. I need to talk to you about something." I didn't say much, just, "What's up," because I had no clue where this was going. Then she hit me with it. "Things have been going missing again," she said. I sat up straight. "Missing? Like what?" She listed stuff, some of Dad's collectibles, cash from their wallets, even her jewelry. It was way more serious than the stuff from years ago. But then she said, "This time, we knew we had to be sure before accusing anyone." My heart stopped for a second. Were they really about to drag me back into this? Blame me for stuff I wasn't even there to take? But then she said something that threw me. "Your dad set up cameras in the house," she said. "And we caught Derek." Derek, my younger brother, the golden child who could do no wrong. I couldn't process it at first. "Wait, what?" I finally got out. She explained they'd put cameras in the hallway to their bedroom. Sure enough, they caught Derek sneaking in late at night, stealing stuff and hiding it in Jenna's old room. He'd been doing it for years, maybe even back when I was still living there. I didn't know whether to laugh or scream. Part of me felt vindicated, finally, proof it wasn't me. All those years of blame, punishment, humiliation, it was never me. But I was also furious. Furious it took them this long to figure it out. Furious they let it go so far and left me with scars I still carry. My mom kept talking, apologizing, trying to explain. "We feel terrible about how we treated you," she said. "We should have believed you. We were wrong, and we're so sorry." Sorry. As if one word could erase years of being treated like garbage. Then she said, "We want you to come to my birthday dinner next week. It would mean a lot if we could see you and talk about this in person." I didn't answer right away. I just sat there, gripping my phone, debating whether to hang up or let her finish. Finally, I said, "I'll think about it," and hung up. My mind was racing. All those years, they made me feel broken, like a liar, a thief. Now they wanted me to show up for a cozy family dinner and act like nothing happened? I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to tell them to shove their apology. But another part, maybe the part that still wanted closure, wanted to hear them out. A few days later, my dad, David, called. That surprised me, he's never been one to admit he's wrong. He started with small talk, asking about work, how I was doing. Then he got to the point. "I just want to say I'm sorry," he said. "I messed up. We messed up. We should have trusted you." Hearing that from him felt strange. He was the one who punished me the hardest, making sure I felt every ounce of it. Now he was saying he was wrong? Then he said something that threw me off. "We're going to make it up to you," he said. "We're planning something special, and I think you'll like it." When I asked what he meant, he just said, "You'll see," and left it at that. In the days leading up to Mom's birthday, I wrestled with whether to go. I wasn't ready to forgive them, but I was curious about what they had to say and what they'd do to make things right. At the same time, I couldn't shake my anger. They'd treated me like a criminal for years while Derek got away with everything. Now that the truth was out, they thought a quick apology would fix it? It wasn't that simple. When the day of the dinner came, I still hadn't decided. I thought about texting Mom to say I wasn't coming. But something stopped me. Maybe I wanted to see if they were serious about making amends, or maybe I just wanted to hear them say it to my face. Either way, I went. I showed up at Mom's birthday dinner, and let me tell you, I wasn't thrilled to be there. I hadn't seen most of my family in years, and now I was supposed to sit at a table with them like everything was normal? The dinner was at a fancy restaurant, the kind my parents only went to for special occasions. Mom greeted me at the door like nothing had ever happened. "I'm so glad you came," she said, smiling like she hadn't treated me like a criminal for years. My dad was already at the table, giving me an awkward nod that I guess was his version of an apology. The first half hour was weird. My parents tried to make small talk, asking about my job, acting interested in my life now. Derek was there, too, sitting at the far end of the table, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. I didn't even look at him. But then the mood shifted. My cousin Chloe, who loves stirring up drama, decided to make a scene. Out of nowhere, she said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Better keep an eye on your wallets, everyone. You know how things go missing around here." I swear the whole restaurant went quiet. My dad tried to laugh it off as a joke, but I wasn't having it. I leaned forward, looked right at her, and said, "Don't worry, Chloe. I'm sure your boyfriends say the same thing when they're comparing notes." Yeah, it was harsh, maybe too harsh, but I wasn't in the mood to play nice after that. Chloe's face turned bright red, and she started crying. Her dad, my Uncle Frank, jumped in immediately. "That's enough," he yelled, scowling at me. "You've got no right to talk to her like that, especially after everything you've put this family through." I couldn't believe my ears. "What have I put this family through?" I said. "Are you serious right now? After all the crap I went through because you people couldn't figure out who the real thief was, you're still blaming me?" Frank doubled down, saying something about family unity and how I needed to be more respectful. I couldn't take it anymore. I stood up, looked at my parents, and said, "This is what you created. You turned me into the family scapegoat, and now you expect me to sit here and take it? Forget it." Then I walked out. I didn't even make it to my car before my dad caught up with me. "Wait," he said, more shaken than I'd ever seen him. "You don't have to apologize for what just happened. That wasn't your fault." I stopped and looked at him. "You're damn right it wasn't my fault," I said. "But what are you going to do about it?" He didn't have an answer. He just stood there, looking uncomfortable. "We're trying to fix things," he finally said. "We really are." I didn't respond. I got in my car and drove home. A few days later, Jenna called. She hadn't been at the dinner, which made sense since she lives in another state and only visits occasionally. "Mom told me what happened," she said. "For what it's worth, I think you handled it better than I would have." Jenna's always been the calm one, and hearing her say that made me feel a little better. She told me Derek had finally admitted to everything, not just the recent thefts, but the ones from years ago, too. "Mom had a complete meltdown when she found out," Jenna said. "She's been crying for days." Jenna said she felt awful about how she'd treated me, too. "Good," I said. "She should feel awful." But I wasn't ready to forgive her. Later that week, my mom called again, sounding frantic, not just sorry. "We want to make this right," she said. "Your dad and I are selling some stuff to help pay off your student loans, and we're planning to get you a new car. It's the least we can do." I told her straight, "I don't want your money, and I don't want your car. You can't buy your way out of this." She started crying again, but I didn't care. For years, they'd treated me like the family failure, and now they thought a few expensive gifts would make me forget? Not a chance. Then things took a turn when Derek got arrested. He'd stolen my grandfather's pickup and crashed it into a streetlight about 2 miles from their house. The truck was totaled, and my grandparents were livid. They kicked him out and said he couldn't come back until he paid for the damage. My parents used Derek's college fund to cover the costs. That's when I found out they planned to use some of that money to buy me the car they'd been talking about. The irony was almost funny. When my dad called to tell me, he sounded more broken than I'd ever heard him. "We've made so many mistakes," he said. "I don't expect you to forgive us, but I hope you'll let us try to make things right." I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to believe him and give them a chance. But the other part, the one that spent years being blamed, punished, and humiliated, wasn't ready to let go. I told him I'd think about it, but deep down, I already knew my answer. After the dinner, the arguments, and their endless calls, I was done. Done with the apologies, the guilt trips, the idea that this could all be fixed. I thought about it for weeks. Every time my phone rang, my stomach knotted, knowing it was probably Mom or Dad checking in again. I didn't answer most of the time. What was the point? They kept saying the same things: we're sorry. We're trying to make things right. We just want to move forward. But none of it felt real. Apologies don't undo years of damage, especially not from family. They don't erase the shame, the self-doubt, the complete loss of trust. My parents seem to think admitting they were wrong will magically fix everything. It doesn't. Jenna called one night to check in. She's the only one I still feel okay talking to. Even if she didn't always have my back growing up, I think she gets it now. You don't owe them anything, she said. If you're not ready to forgive them, that's okay. Do what's best for you. That stuck with me. I'd spent so much time worrying about what they wanted that I forgot to think about what I needed. And all I wanted was peace. A week later, my dad called again. This time, he wasn't making excuses or trying to guilt me into forgiving him. He sounded tired, almost defeated. Derek's still being held, he said. The charges for stealing the truck and the damage are serious. Your grandparents won't help, and honestly, I can't blame them. He said they decided not to bail him out this time. He needs to face the consequences, he said. Maybe this will finally wake him up. We've tried everything else, and it hasn't worked. His voice was heavy, like he couldn't believe it had come to this. Then he brought it back to me. We're trying to rebuild the family, he said. We want you to be part of that. We'll do whatever it takes to make things right with you. I didn't say much, just let him talk. When he was done, I said, I'm glad you're trying to fix things, but I'm not ready to be part of it. I need time, maybe a lot of it. He sighed and said, I understand. Just know the door's always open if you change your mind. Around the same time, my mom sent a long email. It was the first time she'd put everything in writing, and I could tell she meant it. She apologized for the years of mistrust, for not defending me, for letting things get so bad. She said they'd failed as parents and didn't know how to make up for it. I appreciated the effort, but the damage was done. I'd spent years trying to get them to see me for who I was. Even though they finally did, it didn't change the fact that they'd broken me. I'm not sure if I'll ever forgive them. Should I let go of my anger and move forward? Honestly, I've been better off without their chaos since I left. I've built a life that feels lighter, freer, more peaceful. I don't know how they'd fit back into it. I'm exhausted just thinking about going back to that, even if they're trying to change. For now, I'm staying on my own, figuring out what I really want. Here's the final update. It's been a while since I shared what was going on, and things have shifted. After everything with my family, I hit my breaking point. Derek was released from his arrest. My parents scraped together enough money to help him post bond, and the court let him off with probation since it was his first serious offense. But even though he's out, he's still in trouble. Jenna told me he's staying with our grandparents, but they're keeping him on a tight leash. He has to get a job, pay rent, and follow strict rules to prove he's growing up. You'd think he'd be sorry or want to change, but nope. Jenna said Derek's been taking money from my parents' emergency savings to buy video games and snacks. It's not as big as stealing a truck, but it's enough to show me nothing's changed. Meanwhile, I couldn't help but compare. I was punished for years for something I didn't do. Now they're bending over backward to give Derek chance after chance. When it came to me, they treated me like dirt until I left. But they can't bear to cut Derek off, no matter how much damage he does. That's when I made my decision. I sat down one night and wrote a message to my parents. I kept it short and straight to the point, no long explanations or arguments, just the truth. I appreciate the effort you've made to apologize and make things right, I wrote. But the truth is, I don't think I can ever fully trust you again. The way you treated me all those years, assuming the worst, punishing me, isolating me, it's something I can't just forget. I need to move on with my life, and that means cutting ties for now. Maybe someday I'll feel differently, but right now, I need space. Please don't contact me anymore. I'll reach out if and when I'm ready. Jenna called the next day, and I told her what I'd done. She didn't judge me or try to talk me out of it. I get it, she said. You have to do what's right for you. That was the most validating thing I'd heard in a long time. Derek never reached out, not that I expected him to. Jenna said he's acting like nothing's his fault, which doesn't surprise me. That's just who he is. It's been a few months since I sent that message, and I feel good about my choice. Cutting ties was hard, but it was necessary. For the first time in a long time, I can breathe. I've been focusing on my own life. It's not perfect, but it's mine, and that's what matters. My parents have a long way to go before they can truly fix things. Saying sorry isn't enough. They'd have to show they've changed, and I'm not holding my breath. For now, I'm done being the scapegoat, the target, the project they think needs fixing. Sometimes walking away is the only way to heal, and it was my only option left. Thanks for sticking with me through this. I'll keep you updated if anything changes. For now, I'm focused on living a drama-free life.